All right, I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling here. In case you're wondering if at any point you need to dip out of the webinar, totally fine. We're going to go ahead and record just the contents of the screen so that we can send out a recording afterwards or be able to answer any questions for you. So we'll send out an email after our webinar today, which we will always do with any resources that we mention here, as well as slides from today's webinar. So thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Megan Prendergast, and I'm the marketing manager here at Chris-Leef General Agency. And today I'm really excited. We have Seth with RLI who's coming in today to really talk us through selling personal umbrella and navigating their system with some confidence. It's a really interesting time for this kind of a coverage. We've seen some incredible growth this year with our agents that partner with Chris-Leef with RLI. So we wanted to make sure that we got a webinar in place to help answer any questions and to give you guys a really great look inside the RLI website. So for those who are just joining, you'll notice no access to the camera or the mic. Go ahead and utilize that chat function for any questions that you do have as they come up. So we're going to go right on into this and chat really quickly about who this session is for and really what it's designed to do. So who is this session for? It's for independent insurance agents, producers and account managers, agency owners, and sales teams. So if after today you would like this to go out further in your agency to more people, we will have all of these slides available, and I'm always happy to jump on another call with you and your team if you see some people there that this is designed for who weren't able to attend today. If you want better understanding of personal umbrella coverage, confidently being able to offer this to more insureds, being able to leverage RLI's online platform, it is easy and slick. And I know that agents are always looking to be able to get in and do this stuff on their own time. We will go ahead and go over that in as much detail as possible. So you're in the right place if any of those things sound like you. I'm going to talk us through our agenda really quickly. I want to give Seth as much time as possible to get into the platform and show you guys around for sure. So we're going to talk about the personal umbrella product overview today. We're going to talk about RLI's online platform and see a live demo. We're going to talk a little bit about selling this coverage in today's economy and in today's market and what that looks like. And then we'll also talk at the end really quickly about resources, next steps, and we'll go ahead and look at any questions that pop up at that time. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to talk a little bit about why personal umbrella matters right now. The risk environment has changed. We are seeing higher jury awards and nuclear verdicts coming out against people in the personal line space specifically. There's increased litigation frequency, and there is a greater personal asset exposure. Standard limits often aren't enough on both the auto and the home that you guys are seeing in today's market, especially. Those tend to get exhausted pretty quickly. And really, one serious claim can impact a client's financial future. I know that we can talk about this a little bit further and especially in follow-up, but right now in the economy, some of your clients, some of the insureds might see something like an umbrella coverage as extra, and they are thinking, I don't have the money right now for any extras. But really being able to talk to them about how this is a layer of protection so that in this economy, if something hits them, if there's a claim, if something goes nuclear, or there's a really high jury award that goes against them, we know that those can be devastating, and that's what this coverage is going to give them, is peace of mind against those kinds of big claims that can come in against them. So I'm excited to talk about that as well, but I'm going to turn it over to Seth. I'm going to let Seth talk to you guys about their product, about their platform, and again, I'll monitor the chat while he's doing that. So Seth, thank you so much for joining us. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Good morning, everyone. As she said, my name's Seth Haley. I am the account executive for Chris-Leef from RLI for personal umbrella needs. I'm excited to be here today to share a little bit more about our product and our platform and how everything works in our neck of the woods. So I will be turning my camera off just so it's not as distracting for you guys, and that way you guys can focus more on the slides as well. So just to piggyback off of what Megan said in relation to why we need personal umbrella policies, Do I need one? We always recommend everyone having one. If you have multiple houses, if you have multiple cars, if you have youthful drivers, if you have people coming over to your house all the time, it is definitely necessary to have a personal umbrella policy. We always like to give the example of maybe you have a lake house or something like that, or a house with a pool. There can be a lot of liability when it comes to those types of exposures, and that is where a personal umbrella policy can step in in the event of something really bad happening. We can help cover you for that type of exposure on top of your home and your auto insurance, to where you are not financially crippled by something super bad happening that could have been out of your control, but you are still found liable for. So jumping into the RLI personal umbrella product specifically. So a little bit about our company. For RLI personal umbrella, we are an admitted product. It's written on admitted paper. Our company is rated A++. And we are available in all 50 states and DC. We've been in the personal umbrella space for 40 plus years in all 50 states and DC, and have no intention of moving out of changing that stance or anything along those lines. We plan to be here for another 40 years and available and a viable product in all 50 states. There are 4 limit options available for our product: $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, and $5 million coverage limits. There is also an additional coverage that you can purchase for an extra surcharge with our product, and that is UM/UIM coverage endorsement. That is for $1 million. That's not something that is built in to our coverage. It does come with an extra surcharge. For underlying auto limits, we go as low as $250, $500. There is also a $500 option. And to piggyback off of that, this is a standalone policy, so we can write over any underlying carrier. It does not matter to us. The thing that does matter to us is as long as they are maintaining the required underlying limits they are agreeing to on that application. To piggyback off of that, as well as we don't require you guys to submit underlying deck pages to us, as well as we don't require property lists, vehicle lists, or any other information like that. When the insured is signing our application, they're agreeing that all exposures that they outline on it are correct, and also underlying limits that they agree to are correct and in place for the entire policy period. Since we don't do vehicle lists or property lists, we do require that all exposures be listed on the application. You can't exclude exposures, so we allow up to like 10 properties, for example, in our little neck of the woods. And if they have 12 properties and want to insure 10 with us, that's not something we can do, because we can't exclude properties, and we wouldn't know what 10 properties we would be insuring out of those 12, since we don't do property lists. We do allow a DUI in the household. We go back 5 years on those. It's only 1 DUI per the entire household. There's no age limit on drivers either. We don't do medical certificates or clue reports or credit reports or anything like that. The only report that we will run is a motor vehicle report, and we will run that on all youthful drivers. That's a driver under the age of 22, and then all drivers that have a DUI within the last 5 years. It also comes with an online quote in minutes. We do pride ourselves on ease of use, so this is something you guys can get a quote pretty instantaneously when it comes to our product. So when it comes to an additional thing about our product is endorsements. We do not do a ton of endorsements with the RLI personal umbrella product. The vast majority of exposure changes are all handled at renewal. The reason for that is we pride ourselves on ease of use. So if there are midterm changes to exposures, those are all something that can be handled at renewal. The example we like to give is if someone is buying a new car or something midterm, they do not need to let us know about that. That's not something we need to know about until the renewal process comes into play. They just need to make sure that they're maintaining those underlying limits that they agreed to on the application. So if the insured has an application or started a policy in January, they buy a car in May, and in January they agreed to $250, $500 underlying limits, they just need to make sure that new car is carrying $250, $500 on their underlying insurance for coverage to automatically extend. There are a couple changes that we can make midterm, and they're coverage related. So an insured can change their policy limit midterm. They can add or remove UM/UIM. They can change their underlying auto limits. So if they agreed to 250, 500 and then bumped it up to 500, 500, that's something they can reach out to us, and we can make that change for them as well. We can also update email addresses, phone numbers, all that other more admin related information, but the vast majority of exposure changes are all handled at renewal. So before we jump into the live quote and the system itself, I just wanted to touch on our renewal process too, because it's a little unique. So RLI handles the entire renewal process directly with the insured. That's something that it's ease of use based and something that you guys don't necessarily have to worry about. But approximately 90 days prior to policy expiration, we will send a renewal packet directly to the insured. It'll contain a cover letter with instructions on how to renew online, as well as instructions on how to renew via paper application. There will also be a paper renewal questionnaire in that packet as well. Another thing about our product too is our policy does not auto renew. So the insured does have to fill out a renewal questionnaire every year to account for those midterm changes that may have taken place throughout the policy term. So since we send out that renewal questionnaire so far in advance, we do always send an additional one if we do not receive that initial renewal questionnaire back. We will send this second renewal questionnaire around 35 days in advance of policy expiration, and that will be accompanied with a non-renewal notice. That doesn't mean that the policy is canceled or anything, but this is just a second chance for the insured to fill out that renewal questionnaire and send it back to us, so their policy can renew in time prior to policy expiration. So from here, I'm going to jump out of the PowerPoint and jump right into our system. So this is what our system's going to look like. Once you guys get access to our system through Chris-Leef, you guys will bridge into something like that looks like this. You guys won't have all the product tiles available, just because you would only have access to personal umbrella. Let me see it here. So right here, this is what the personal umbrella product tile looks like. We always recommend when you're new to the system to go down to the view product details button, and then it bridges into the whole tile itself. So you can see everything related to personal umbrella in this little area right here. So it's everything from an overview. Our forms are in here, so you guys can see all of our new business applications. You can see our provisions, our policy, or our excess UM/UIM coverage forms, our state of mandatory endorsements. Everything related to forms is in here and available to you guys at all times. There's also a marketing tab. There's a bunch of marketing resources out here, everything from claim scenarios to product overviews. So if you guys are trying to sell this to someone that doesn't really know what a personal umbrella policy is, these product overview flyers are perfect. It gives examples of why you need it, and then also the claim scenarios give additional examples on how a personal umbrella policy has helped an insured individually, and they are all based on real life RLI claims that we have covered in the past. There's also other insured scenarios. Our underwriting box is out here too. Our product is box underwritten and broken down into tiers, so you guys will see that and what our underwriting box is. These are also fully customizable to you as well, so you guys can put your agency information in here and contact information. There's also a resources tab in here. Everything related to signature options, PUP reports, which I'll show you once we start our quote, and then a bunch of other how-tos and how to navigate the portal, how to do certain things within our system, and everything along those lines too. So I would highly recommend coming in here once you guys get access and just poking around, seeing what information's available to you. And I would also recommend printing off a new business application just so you can have it at the ready in the event that someone comes into your office and is looking for a personal umbrella policy. So going from here, we're going to click Start Quote. So then for this for this presentation, we're going to do a quick quote, and then we will jump right into the quoting process of zip code and then effective date. Once you put in all that information, you will be bridged into our entire quote right here. So Chris-Leef's producer number should automatically populate here, as well as your sub-producer code. And then you would go through this process of putting the insured's information in here. One thing to note here, we do allow for 2 named insureds. We do not allow for an named insured to be in the name of an entity or a trust or an LLC or anything like that, as well as they can't be listed as an additional insured on our policy. This policy is meant to be in the name of an individual and not a trust or an LLC. There is additional verbiage I can provide Megan after regarding trust and LLC coverage, because there are instances where we can extend coverage as long as it's properly covered on the underlying. And if we could distribute that out to the agents as well, that would be appreciated. So going down here, you get right into our rating questions. So some pretty basic questions: how many autos, residential properties. This is all just numbers, because we don't do vehicle lists or anything like that. So it's the total number for the entire household, especially if someone, for example, like if you have your mom living with you, her exposures need to be accounted for as well. So for this quote, we'll jump through. One other thing to note as well is if there is any additional questions that you have based on what we're asking here, additional information is available if you just hover over the questions itself. So if you're wanting to wonder what our parameters are for watercrafts, you can look right in here and see that we're asking for watercrafts between 14 and 45 feet. And then other information like that as well. At-fault accidents, it gives our definition of what that is. And then also driver and everything along those lines as well. So I'd highly recommend, if there's any initial question when you're going through the quote, just to hover over the rating questions, and it'll give you some additional information. So for moving violations and at-fault accidents, we go back 3 years on, and then DUIs, we go back 5 years. We do ask about international properties as well. Our coverage is meant to go worldwide. They do need to be maintaining those underlying required limits that we outline on the application, which you'll see here in a minute as well. So those properties do need to be accounted for as well. This is the question when we ask about UM/UIM coverage. We always recommend clicking purchase, because then you're able to see what the breakdown is for that additional surcharge for that additional coverage. So then once you're done filling out the rating questions, you'll click rate and save. And then as you can see, there's 4 limit options that are available based on the answers that I provided on the application. If there, for whatever reason, if there's ever a question that exceeds our underwriting box, and you click rate and save, the risk as a whole would not be eligible. And then there would be a big red not eligible in big red font right down here at the bottom, and no limit options would be available. So you'll know pretty instantaneously if the risk that you're quoting is eligible or not with RLI. So once you're done with this, you can see the 4 limit options. So $1 million limit is $375. That does include the UM/UIM coverage that we did select up here. You can see the breakdown of it down here. So that UM/UIM additional coverage is $192 of that $375. So if the insured sees that and they don't want it, you can go up and click reject, and then click rate and save again. And then it would adjust the premium based on that answer now. You do have the ability to print off a quote letter and present that to the insured as well. And you can save the quote and come back to it later as well. So we'll click continue, and then we'll get into our underwriting questions here. We like to call these knockout questions. They are all yes/no based. So if the insured is answering yes to any of these questions, the entire risk will be ineligible. So we ask here if you've ever been charged, indicted of a felony. That would be something that would make the risk ineligible. Question 18 is something that we see a lot as well. nationally or locally recognized as a celebrity or famous person. So if there's ever any question, maybe this person's a big TV host or something like that, and you don't know if they meet that criteria, feel free to us directly or go through Chris-Leef, and we can review that information for you and see if that would be an eligible risk based on the information that you guys provide. So here we'll click no, no. One other question to note here is like I said earlier, the RLI personal umbrella policy is meant to cover the entire household. So there can't be multiple people in the household with an RLI personal umbrella policy. So meant to cover everyone in the entire household. And if there are multiple people in the household with a personal umbrella policy, one of them would need to be canceled. And we asked that on question 20. Any member of household or person residing in your household that has a personal umbrella policy with RLI insurance company. After you answer those questions, we'll click continue. And then this is the section where the insured is agreeing to the minimum required limits of liability. So this is a good breakdown of the required underlying limits that we keep talking about. So for the primary residence, we asked for $300,000 on the underlying insurance for personal liability. Watercraft, you can see the limit options there, as well as seasonal or rental properties, and recreational vehicles is also listed there as well. So don't be afraid if the insured is confused and they're like, wait, I don't have a recreational vehicle or a boat. This is just all the underlying coverages that we outlined. So if they do, for whatever reason, buy a boat mid-policy term, they know what underlying limits that they need to maintain in order for coverage to extend. So this is just a yes/no answer. So they would agree yes, then click continue. And then this is the member of household section, and where you list the drivers that are in that household as well. For this, we do ask for all permanent drivers as well, and people in the household that are over the age of 14, regardless if they have a license or not. Go through, and then you can assign relationships to the insured in this section as well. And you can assign the number of violations or at-fault accidents to a specific driver. So if we were to put on those rating questions, if there were 2 at-fault accidents or something like that, is where you would assign them to a specific driver so they're accounted for. Then you'd click Save Member, and everything pre-populates here, and then we click Continue. And then this is the only address that we are asking for on our application. We are only asking for the primary address. They do have the option to put a mailing address in if they wish, but that is not something that is required by any means. They do have to put in a phone number and then an email address, just to send that secure email as a signature option directly to the insured. We'll click continue. And then this is where we select our signature options. We highly recommend to send a secure email to the insured to e-sign and pay online. This is a very beneficial signature option that is done pretty instantaneously. So once you guys select that signature option and click continue, an email will be sent directly to the insured of that email that you put on file, with instructions on how to log on to sign their application, how to pay for that policy, and how to complete the entire process. Once you click continue, you click OK. Mind you, this is our testing system, so it's a little bit slower, so I apologize for that. So now you can see that your email has been sent to the customer. So your part is done from this point on. So you click continue to repository. And before I show you the insured's point of view, I just wanted to kind of show you some more information in here as well. So this is what your repository will look like. It'll be based on your access to your specific subcode. So you'll be able to see all of your quotes, all of your policies, everything that pertains to your subcode in here. You can see this quote that we just did right here. You can see the status is e-sig email pending. So that means that email has been sent to the insured, and we are just waiting for them to sign and pay for that policy. So before we do that, we'll go up to this reports tab. So another thing to note with our product is you guys have the ability to run reports at any time within our system. So there's everything when it comes to enforced policy lists, new business policies issued, renewal apps mailed. You can run all of these different reports that are outlined here. And I would highly recommend, once you get access, just going in and poking around and seeing what those different reports are, and they can be ran at any time for you. After the insured jumps into that application through that link, they have the ability to review the entire application. And then once they are done with that and make sure that everything is correct, all they have to do is click a couple buttons, clicking sign. They sign the application, they'll click finish, and then they'll get to the payment screen, and they will be able to pay. Policy payment is due in full, and they have the option to pay with check or credit card, and there's no fee for either of them. And once they complete that process, an email will be sent directly to Chris-Leef, to where they will bind that policy for you. So I know that was a lot of information, and I'm going to turn it back over to Megan to continue through.
Thank you so much, Seth. I think that what I want to highlight about your platform is it is so intuitive. It really puts a lot of the tools into the insured's hands, but it also, the hovering over each question to have further information, it's just really well thought out platform. And I'll speak for our agents here, having the access to be able to go in whenever it fits in best within their workflow and be able to get to an end moment of sending something over to the insured on a direct bill policy in this way is just such a wonderful platform. So thank you so much for giving us a full look at what that looks like for our agents behind there. It's such an incredible platform. So thank you so much for that. But obviously the first step to getting in there is making sure that you have access. So part of being appointed with Chris-Leef and being one of our partners is that we are able to give you that access. In a follow-up email that I will send out today, you will see a link to be able to request that access to RLI, and then you'll log in through our agent portal, which is the Grove. There are screenshots once you have access to show you exactly where you need to go in the Grove to be able to access all of our online raters and specifically RLI's platform. So that is how you can do that to then go ahead and start getting a quote. I also want to point out that for any questions that you as the agent might have, you can take those directly to our team over here at Chris-Leef. Our underwriters will have contact information for them in our follow-up email, and they are your first point of contact that you're going to have on questions and needs and access to RLI. That is Chris-Leef specific, and we will be able to do that for you. And additionally, in my follow-up email, I'm going to go ahead and include a copy of the product flyer and the claims scenario flyer, along with the specific information that Seth mentioned about those entity and LLC coverage options. So really quickly here, just a quick overview of everything you can do on Chris-Leef's agent portal, The Grove. You can create submissions, you can pay online, you can run production reports, you can policy manage all your policies, create and print certificates for general liability policies, access online applications, rate online with our carrier platforms, including RLI's incredible platform, and submit a claim. All of that is available for you to do on our portal. And if ever you would like a full demo of the Grove for you or your team, please just let me know. I am very happy to jump on those with your team as well. So I think that is everything that we have for today. I saw no questions come up in the chat, but I'll stick around for a few minutes to see any questions that might come up there. But if not, thank you all so much for joining us today and giving us 30 minutes. I really think that being able to see exactly how you start a quote, getting it sent over to the insured, and how easy RLI has made that step-by-step process is so, so wonderful. So I see a couple of questions that might be coming in, but later today, you will receive that follow-up email with all of the information that we presented today. So we will stick around for those questions, but everyone else, thank you so much for your time time today. We really appreciate it. Please feel free to reach out to myself or any of our Chris-Leef underwriters with any questions you might have. You can always reach us at our general inbox, which is info@chris-leef.com. We will be sure to get your questions answered as soon as possible. So I'll stick around for the questions that we got or the comments coming into the chat, but everyone else, thank you so much and have a lovely rest of your day.